ここは
どんな客人も歓迎いたしますよ。私はヘドン。この塔の管理人。
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. We're finally here, the last episode for Tower of God Season 1 of the anime, titled Tower of God. Very fitting, right, as we see our characters enter. And then, of course, we're going to be talking about the manhwa later. And let's just get into it, man. Final episode of the season. I gotta say, aside from the differences and some of the stuff that was cut out, overall, I like the episode. Even though it's more of a recap than anything, right? Which, I mean, that's how it was in the manhwa.
I watched the episode twice. I was really thinking about it overall, like to try and be as unbiased as possible. I think they did a pretty good job with the anime as a whole. Really looking at it, like if I was to be anime only, I definitely would still be engaged. I mean, I would have some kind of, there would be some blank spaces for sure. They did this last episode. I mean, I already knew what was coming because I reread these last chapters a couple weeks ago, so it's pretty fresh in my head. So I knew it was just pretty much going to be like a whole Rachel recap. There were a couple things that I was like, you probably should have noted that, like the whole Rachel being afraid of the night. I guess with the direction they were going with it, it's fine, but I still would have really liked that little bit of dialogue. But as far as everything else goes, I did enjoy this episode. I loved how well it worked out being adapted of Hedon just bagging on Rachel, like, dude, you're so full of shit. Like, dude, just get out of here. We don't need you. Get you, dude, you suck. Like, just straight to her face. Like, dude, you suck so hard. Like, why are you being such a whiny little girl? Like, stop. I appreciated that. As, I hate Rachel. I appreciate her as a character, but I hate her at the same time.
Yeah, it was definitely a great moment to see Hedon just throw the shit down. It was good.
Hold on. I have to ask you guys this because this was one of the few things that really bugged me. So in the manhwa, there is no statement that Ghost is giving Rachel like a second life. But in the anime, it's like you get one chance. You get one shot and then you'll come back. But you still have to do what you got to do. So I thought that was really interesting that they made it in that kind of a set, instead of how the manhwa did it. Which is kind of, the way the manhwa did it is very open-ended, especially with how season 2 starts with the whole gang. But how did you guys feel about that?
I like that touch because it shows the versatility of weapons. And
I could see that, yeah.
For one, like a weapon can be a person, as we could come to later find out. A character named
Beta.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that yesterday, Gerry.
I was gonna say no, dude. I was gonna say bang, and I was like, fuck. Weapons are truly versatile in the tower. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that was that, and then the Rachel being afraid of the night thing, and Bam's name translated to night. I think those are my two biggest gripes.
I think Rachel said it before though, that she's afraid of the night in the anime.
And it really alludes to it too. Like, when she has that moment where she's looking at Bam and he has like all the friends, like, and then he's walking towards the light and then she's stuck in the darkness. Like, it really alludes to it, but I just wanted like the full frontal statement. Like, no, yeah. Dude, I don't like the darkness. I don't like the night at all. And then just having that translation of Bam's name being night, like it fits so well for the rest of the story, as we start getting more into it.
Yeah, it was important. Because in the manhwa, yeah, she's talking to Hua Ryun about it, yeah.
But, besides that, the Hua Ryun, because I'm still not covering her Karen, those scenes were good, dude.
I gotta say, guys, even though, how we feel about Rachel, I thought they did a fantastic job with her this whole episode.
Oh, dude,
I definitely agree. That was phenomenal. It's such a good, character. I just love that this last episode was just, a retelling of basically the story through her eyes, and you get to pretty much feel for her and be in her shoes during all of that. She's still a crazy bitch, but you get to see what she's going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, there was a screen cap someone took, and I saw it in a Twitter post where it was and he had said the caption was, "I was wondering why her face looked this way when it happened. But now I fully understand." And clearly he must have been an anime only guy, But the screenshot was of when she's telling Bam, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, just she's all in her head, run away.
From me.
Yeah, and then she's crying. but if you look at her face, she's smiling while she's crying. Like she's like, I'm doing this. Like I'm fucking doing it. And
I'm about
when
to
I
do it if you don't fucking
right, and like when I saw that, I was like, this is the moment. Like this is the pivotal moment that the anime has done such a great job with, because I didn't pick up on that when that scene originally happened. So then when I saw it again, I was like, okay, that's really interesting. And then I saw this dude's Twitter post. I'm like, that's why. That's why it hits so well, because it was just done like she just knew. Like you can see the decline of Rachel being like, no, dude, you know what? I want what I want. I don't even care about you. I need to do what I have to do. And yet, I'm fully agreeing with you, Danny. They did a great job with Rachel, despite how I feel about her. Like there was certain moments of the episode where I was like, I wish I could like you, man. Like I feel like sometimes that's a really good villain, where it's like you really want to like them and you appreciate them for the character, but you're just like, man, I hate you. At the end of the day, I don't want none of that.
Yeah, I did that moment where who's talking? I think Hwaryun or Kun is talking about how, like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and continue climbing the tower. We'll take Rachel with us, because that's what Bam would have wanted. We owe him, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be passing the test right now as we are as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And as that's going on, we see Rachel, stand up because, she's not disabled. And then she starts laughing, and then just the laugh, I was like, oh man, this is perfect.
yes,
so good,
so great.
Yeah, like the manhwa can't even touch it. Honestly, like it's such a better version of how they did it. Even though stuff's different in here, which I don't necessarily agree with characters building up for season 2 and all that. Still really good stuff. Like my other favorite scene, I think, is with when they're all about to ascend to like the first real floor of the tower, and Hwaryun's giving his like speech to all these regulars, and then Kun's like telling Rachel like, this about Bam. She's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, no, you don't know. You wouldn't be here if you did know. I was like, oh, it's so good.
Dude, that how much I love that is because of how season 2 starts with them. Like it's just so, they capture that moment so well. And then where Rachel was like, I can see that Bam was easily loved, and then Kun is all, I wish I met him before you. I wish I knew him before you. And just that, I was like, oh, dude.
Energy.
Okay, I didn't know. That's not where I was going. That's where everyone else is gonna go. That's not where I was going.
But for real though, fuck, man. It was so good.
Dude.
Yeah. And man, just Rachel's reply right after that, dude. It's just like, whew. She's like, yeah, I could see that Bam was loved. And I'm like, oh, she's like, she knew the point and she just threw it away.
So good.
Yeah. So,
and I don't know if you guys caught this moment with it's with Bam and Hwaryun. It's like when she's talking with him, where she says even a savior can become a god. That statement, only because of how she feels about Bam, like much later on in the series, that's when I was like, you're hinting so much at season 2. You're like, that was the first hint that I got. And then we got that screen cap at the end. I was like, oh, dude, my boy. It was a good final tease. It was a good final tease. I hope we do get it. I mean, and for 2 weeks in a row that Tower was trending on its release day for the episodes. Come on, man.
Yeah, one thing I didn't like with Bam in this episode was it's that moment where he's talking to Hwaryun when he wakes up after he fell. And in the manhwa, he's just like, what's this feeling in my chest?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that's happening to him is new from this point, right? From where he's been his entire life. And then just feeling that betrayal that he got from Rachel and like the anguish he has with himself, all the frustration. It's shown really well in the manhwa, and it's just sadly not shown here in the anime, which I thought was unfortunate.
A missed opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they touch on it. They're like, when I think it's Bam who goes, what happened? How did I get here? Like, where's Rachel? Something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And Hwaryun is like, you're still asking about this girl after what she did to you, and then they just kind of like completely go away from that, and that could have been really well developed. Like at least a good 3-4 minutes. Just on that, like let that moment saturate. And I get that they let that moment saturate in the last episode, like in the ending credits, but I mean that moment is really important because you can see like the actual decline of Bam's personality.
Yeah. What one part here that I didn't agree with was with Leiro, like his scene with Hang Sun Yu, or the scene that didn't even happen in the anime, right? As we see, Leiro decides to quit, and as he says to Quant in the show, he wants to find out the truth, so he's going to leave, and it plays out differently in the manga, and I like the manga version better just because I don't know, it feels better as a scene than how they did it in the show.
Yeah, and they don't even mention that he's going to find Mizuno. Like he's going up to the 77th floor.
Yeah, which is, again, it's one of those things to where, like, oh, they don't want to give us too much information, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I said this in the chat. If they do season 2, which I hope they do, they can't cut these corners anymore, man. They really can't. Like, there's too much content in season 2. That's the bread and butter. That's where Tower's at its peak. I mean, I'd say season 3 is bad at all, but season 2, I mean, we've all agreed on this before. That's Tower's prime.
I hope that actually works, like, goes through with that scene at the end, man. It's just like, this is what you really want.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Especially with the dialogue line of, like, this is a story of Rachel and Bam, their end, and then the last, like, caption is their beginning, and then it goes to, Bam, who's much older now. That's what really is like, okay, dude, we're done with the prologue. Now here's the real story.
And yeah, hell yeah.
It's got to be at least 60 episodes for season 2.
Dude, it has to. Like, it can't be anything less than that. There's way too much content. And I think we said this before on the podcast, but I would be fine if they did the JoJo thing, do half of it, and then break it off, like wait another year or two, and then go back and finish it.
I think they kind of have to.
I think, yeah, okay, yeah. But for like this season, I would disagree because like it's a lot of info just to get through like the first season. You know what I mean? Like this is why they had to cut corners and they made it work. So yeah, like the second season, there's a lot of stuff that you really can't miss and you really shouldn't. Yeah, I agree with that.
Overall, I would give this anime adaptation of Tower probably solid 8.
Yeah, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours who reads Tower, and he was like, I don't want to watch it because, I know they're changing stuff. And at the end of the day, I was thinking like, yeah, but as much as I don't like some of these changes, we still get to the same place at the end.
Yeah.
All of our characters still feel the same way, even though we didn't get scenes pertaining to why they feel a certain way. I forgot to bring it up last episode, but, one of the lines was with Andrasi and the manhwa talking to Yuri about like, well, I promised Bam, we would go on a date if he passes the test. And that wasn't in the anime. And I was like, oh, that's a good scene. And it ties in with her training with Bam and all this stuff. But because we didn't get any of that, we didn't get that scene. But they all still have the same relationship at the end. So I guess overall it's okay. But like SIU said, it was this week, right? After the episode dropped, was to thanks for watching the anime. Just please, I would appreciate you checking out the manhwa because there's a lot more stuff going on.
And then he had, I think in that same message, he had said, for those longtime readers, I hope you enjoyed what you got. And honestly, I really did. Like at the end of the day, despite the changes, I really enjoyed what we got. I mean, after being a fan of Tower for so many years, and we've always talked like, dude, if only this got an anime, like this would be so fucking good. Like what they gave us, I'm okay with it.
For sure.
I hope they do like an OVA of just like some stuff, like you mentioned before, Danny.
Yeah, I really hope so. We'll see what Crunchyroll wants to do. But overall, man, it was a good finale for a great series for season 1 here.
The music, man. Music was so good.
Yeah, music this episode too was good. Like all the stuff with Rachel, the build up to how her emotions were descending down to darkness. Now we just wait for hopefully a season 2 announcement, which I kind of hope is within the next maybe 3 months. If we don't get OVAs, then maybe just an announcement for, I guess, maybe fall next year. I don't know, depending how all the animation studios are around this time, because, COVID is still a thing and all that. So, with that, guys, let's go ahead and swing over onto the manhwa. Season 3, episode 67 here. The second defensive wall. And so now we're getting into the real plot of this arc.
Okay, Danny, I gotta stop you right here, man, because, you remember a few weeks back, I was like, fuck, dude, I just got spoiled, and you talked to about somebody? and Gerry was like, "Hey, DM me, dude." That Caliban scene, when I saw him join up, I was like, dude, I was so mad that I saw this. I was like, I really wish this would have came to me raw, like no condom, nothing, like just take me bareback and just give it to me, like. But seeing it again, seeing the pretense of it all, I'm so excited. Like this is gonna kick it off for me. Like at least for this arc, this is fucking the build up to this point has been really great, really solid. But now this is the meat and potatoes.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff here in this chapter. The Caliban stuff, yeah, it's always going to be top for me. Just seeing how he's written it, because I think SIU's favorite character right now is Caliban. Just the way he's writing him, and just the way he's drawn to. It's really amazing stuff. And I like this chapter a lot because, like I said last week, was like Love and Augustus. Like I thought, if they were part of Fluke this whole time, then how come, Love was like, man, fuck this kid, Jovial Grace, what a loser, But then we actually get some flashbacks explaining to why Love is even there with Augustus, and that was some really good stuff. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Gives you a good reason.
Dude, I love how Love, with that flashback at the end of it, he was like, even though I hate Fug for what happened to me, like in my past, and I hate, Zahard for everything that like it all stands for, I love how Augustus was just like, dude, don't do it for any of that. Do it for the kid. Do it for the kid that just wants to save his master. At the end of the day, what's so wrong with that? And when Love just went in there and just started wrecking shit, goes, I'm doing it for the kid. That made me so happy. Like, I can't wait for them to cross paths just to see how much, Bam has grown since that happened. Like, I can't wait. I really hope Love, even though I don't think it'll happen, I hope he stays with the group.
Well, I was talking to Gerry about it last night, about my theory of what's going to happen after this. For Love, I think he's just going to take off. I think he's say like, I respect you now, Bam, and all, or Jovial Grace, whatever he's going to call him. I respect you, this and that, but I have to, I can't be part of anything that's going on here. And I think he's just going to leave. Which I'd be okay with. Because at least they'll leave on good terms if that happens.
Yeah, instead of how they left it off, so long ago.
Mm-hmm. Which, man, I don't even remember, season 2 was... As great as it is, I need to go back to it, for sure.
I'm going to start it soon. I need it. With season 1 ending, I need to go right back. Especially now that we have these characters, resurfacing here now in season 3. Mm-hmm. It only makes sense.
It's good to see we actually get a lot of dialogue with pretty much everybody here. This is what I was talking about, like sort of like that breather before shit starts going hard again.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we've got Yama and Paul and Doom talking about what's going on with Yasuracha and how they're going to fight him. And then, of course, Kun's talking. You got Huaryu saying some stuff. Nice slow build up to what we're going to be seeing. And it's really unfortunate, again, that SIU is still sick, and who knows where we're going to get the next chapter after next week.
Dude, and I don't know if you noticed this. I'm pretty sure Miss Sophia, I think she's the doctor or the scientist that made the Devil of the Right Arm. I think.
Oh, I think you're right.
Which I believe she also helped out with Beta. I want to say.
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean, if we got, dude, I mean, I'm pretty sure Devil with the Right Arm is not here. Pretty sure he's not. But just to see what she can come up with now, like, I mean, it's been so long since we last saw her. I want to say it's the same character. I really want to say the same character. Like, I didn't pick up on it last when I read it when it dropped, but I'm looking through it right now, and I'm like, dude, that was all in the same area, all in the same spot as season 2. So.
Yeah, and this chapter here, as far as like the fighting goes, I'm like 50-50 on how it is, because, like I've said before here on the show, I just don't like this flashy stuff going on. Like when Bam, used his, he canceled the spell on the second wall, and just seeing this long panel of like this just fire explosion, I'm like, yeah, I don't like it. But when Augustus did his Shinsu attack, the zigzag thing, that was really cool.
Dude, you know what it made me think of? It made me think of White and how he uses his sword. Because I don't remember if we ever knew what family Augustus was from, if he even was from a family.
Yeah, I don't think we...
He could be from the Ari, but I don't want to be racist, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to be as politically correct as possible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's using a needle, not a sword, so I guess they're kind of the same thing, but depends how you use them. And then, of course, it's not mythical tower lore without summoning giant beasts out of these pots of Shinsu,
Dude, the beasts get better every single time I see them. Like, every single time there's a new one coming out, I'm like, okay, I'm with it. This is really cool. The only one that ever made me, like, really be like, okay, what's going on here was the monkey that we talked about last week, dude. Like, I'll never forget the monkey throwing its feces.
Bro. That shit was great.
Like I don't know what happened at the zoo when SIU was a child, but he made really good content with it.
Dude, these are just straight up Magic the Gathering type of designs here.
Dude, it really is.
Yeah, I think it was also this chapter, right, where we have Yama think about Bam. It's like, man, I really have respect for him now because he's not even tired. He did this teleportation thing, and it's like, wow, really impressive.
Dude, everyone's having all this respect for Bam. It's crazy. I really love it, man, because, I mean, when we first hear about Bam or Juvial Grace, like, all these people are like, dude, who the hell is this guy? Like, why should we care about him? Why should we even want to help him? Like, yeah, he's a Slayer candidate, but how good is he? Like, how strong is this guy, really supposed to be? And little by little, we had Yama, Dewan and Cha, Calivan, Karaka, now Augustus and Love, like, coming into the picture. Like, everyone's like, okay, you know what? This kid actually is something, and he's fighting for something that he really believes in that's not, like, going to destroy everything. Yeah, Bam does want to change the tower, but who's stopping him from doing it? It's a hard.
Mm-hmm.
And what's he doing? He's throwing out everything at him, taking out his master. Like, that's going to make anybody go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So, great chapter. It's good, nice little build up, slowing the pace a little bit. Hyping us some stuff that we're going to see in the future. I really want to see the Yasuracha rematch out of more than anything. Other than I would also love to see Bam and Calivan possibly team up in a fight or something. That'd be really cool.
Dude, that would be the tits, man. That would be the ultimate death. Like, I would get so hard.
No.
Like, I want them. Okay, so this is one of my predictions, all right? Yeah. This just came to my head. This is just the Marineford arc in One Piece.
Yeah. Luffy rescuing Ace? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I really hope it doesn't happen that way, man, because Jin Sung Ha, that's the guy, man. You can't, as much as I don't want him to die, it would be so great for story purposes, but I feel like it's gonna happen, dude, and I hate it, but I literally see it happening, and I mean, we'll see what happens with Caliban and Bam, after that, but I mean, I think it's in this chapter where Caliban's like, yeah, I'll help you out, but I want to kill this guy first. Like, I need to kill this commander before I can help you find your master.
Yeah, they have like a temporary truce until all this is over. Yeah. At the end of this arc, I feel like, yeah, I guess it's 50-50 for me whether or not Jing Sung's going to live or not. It'd be interesting if he dies for sure. But I think my theory after this arc is over, I kind of feel like Bam is going to try to leave Foog and head on over to floor 77, right, to Wool Hikeson where Yurik is at.
Mm-mm.
And I think Foog won't be too happy about that, so then now he'll become a fugitive to Foog as well. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to go with Bam and like leave Foog as well.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
I could definitely see that too. This is what I think though. Like, I think somehow, and then along the way they might meet up with Wool Hikeson, and we'll see what goes from there. Like, because from there I feel like he's either gonna join and try to get out of the tower, or try to make it up the tower, because it seems like the only way out is up, because that's where all the questions lie and everything, right? You can't just go to the side of the fucking tower and just break your way through, right? Unless you can you?
Well, we don't know. That's the big
Yeah.
thing. Jihad is, he sealed so much history. He sealed all the history before the 10 great leaders showed up. So we don't know what's really going on with the tower, whether or not, like, how many floors there are, why did they stop at 134, so it's going to be interesting to see, because I don't know what they would do after if they do go to floor 77, like what's next? I have no idea. You know, it could go anywhere at that point.
I just want to see Kuhn Ran again, man. And Anak. And Andrasi. I want the whole gang to be back together again.
Yeah, like the other night on PSN, we were talking Tower stuff. I'm like, yeah, I just wish we got those characters back. And, you know, that got me thinking, does, you know, everybody, like Shibisu and all them, like, do they really want to work with Foog? You know, like, they're cool with Bam, and, you know, we see Hatsu and Shibisu here helping Bam and Kun because it's like, well, we're already here, we might as well help out. But I'm like, but do they really want to be there? Is, like, Kun's kind of okay with it? Is Rack okay with it? You know, I kept thinking about that recently, and I'm like, yeah, and like Bam just was kind of forced to enter this place, right? He agreed to go with Hwaryu to train, so that way he could get strong enough to follow Rachel and get his own answer, right? Which is kind of what he says at the last episode here for the anime, and that's why I think like he's probably gonna leave. I feel like Jin Sung's gonna, you know, tell him something, and I think Jin Sung overall would want Bam's happiness over the plan that Foog has. The last time we saw Jin Sung was him fighting Caliban, and just we got like some real visuals of how he feels about Bam and all that. So I think he's definitely going to do something like that.
And I think he's told Bam, you know, I think once or twice, like in the manhwa, like yeah, you are my god, but I just want you to be happy. Like I don't like if you end up leaving us. That's fine. I will protect you. I will do what I can for you, no matter what, just because you're my god, and I just, you know, I just want you to be happy, you know. And I think Hwaryu is like kind of going into the same pace as that. You know, the last few interactions she's had with Bam is more like, I'm doing this for you. You know, I'm not doing this for Fug. Like, yeah, I have the connections to them, but you know, I'm really doing this for you. And I would hope that she sticks with him, you know, if he does end up departing from them.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to pull out, because I think she would. Right now she's invested into Bam's story and what he's going to influence the tower. So I feel like she would have joined them. But I don't know, because, you know, she's pretty deep into Foog as it is.
Yeah. There's so many ways this can go, man. I love it.
There's so many ways, yeah. I hope SIU gets well soon.
I do, same here.
Really hope so, yeah. We haven't heard anything. I don't think we've heard anything yet. Really hoping for the best. And, you know, if you go to the wiki, this is why it's like it could go anywhere. And you just start reading the bios and stuff from all the characters, and then you get to the bottom right before all the sources, and it's just like, yeah, SIU said this character is going to play a bigger role coming up, and that's for a lot of like high rankers too. And I was like, Jesus, man, what are you planning, SIU? I gotta know.
It sounds like Oda level stuff, you know? Like Oda has One Piece written out somewhere already, dude.
Dude, it's at that One Piece world building. And it has been for so long. Like, ever since season 2, you know, like at the workshop battle, that was when I was like, okay, dude, you know what? Now you're at One Piece level now. Like, now there's so much that's going on, but he's got it all under wraps.
He doesn't forget characters, man. We forget characters.
Yeah, and you know, we're nearing 500 chapters here in total from all the seasons, so that's going to be...
Also, I do like this little tidbit at the end of the chapter where it's like, oh, hey, you know, season 1 of the anime just ended, you know, and it's like Raccoon and Bam just like, oh, hey, what's going on? Like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see them. Especially Bam, he's like acting out a character. That was fun.
Good stuff this week, man.
Yeah, buddy. So we have one more chapter left to go, and we'll probably talk about it on the next main episode of the show here, because since the anime is over, that means for the Tower segment, it's going to be on hold until hopefully we get a season 2. And if we don't, then we have plans for something else, so stay tuned for the main episodes, and we'll bring it up at some point eventually. So while we wait for that, guys, unversedpodcast@gmail.com. Any questions or comments? We'll have to talk about it. What'd you think of the finale for the Tower anime? And how are you feeling about Rachel? And are you hyped for season 2? Love to hear all that. And of course, you can follow us at unversedpodcast anywhere you go. Let you know when the latest episodes drop. So that's all for today, guys.
The next chapter's a doozy.
Yeah. Woo! Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next episode.
Place the weight on my shoulder, transcending the timescape. Only linked to my past is the fact that I never grew up. drowning on my words. Nostalgia for the hero, swimming through the quicksand, hoping to get stuck. Define progression on the steps you take. Battling the demons, I infect my sacred space. I've been hoping for alternatives and wishing to create a highway to heaven since the stairway had collapsed. Been separated from the home, but the family was a fact. I lost my little sister trying to keep my mind intact, but a journey not the end since the sands within the glass. And every hour that I'm falling, I just forfeit the past. Every minute that I've wasted for the seconds that expand, I've gained a little bit of hope in the moments that I land. But the ground is only temporal, a place to get rest before the restlessness inside evokes the demons in my chest.